Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you enjoy the video we're about to show you. And we also wanted to say that we got our koozies and our stickers, if you haven't seen the shorts we put on. And for those subscribers, if you email us at cardboardcreepergarage@gmail.com, send us your address, we will send these out to you free of charge. So give us a name and address. These can be yours for nothing. So it's showtime.
This is my favorite tool. Unless it doesn't work, then it's not my favorite tool.
Is that motor run out yet?
No, but the blade is slightly warm.
You suck at your job.
I know.
Alright, so the weather in Pennsylvania has cleared up quite a bit. So we're taking advantage of the warmer climate to get back on our S-10 V8 project. Now, there's a lot of videos out there about motor mounts and how unless you tear the front suspension apart to get to the bolts to put the new bolts in, other people have like drilled like holes in the frame to get a wrench in there or whatever, but we didn't want to do any of those things, so we were developing a new way to do this. So here's what we've done. We took off the old motor mounts, well, one of them so far anyway, and then fed a coat hanger through. We already have one, this is the second one we're doing, and pulling up through there. And we have the new bolt attached to fishing line. It's kind of like fishing wires through your firewall, only different.
Okay. I think you're good. I think.
And the beauty about the fishing line is once you get in here, you just thread it off of the bolt. Flat washer. Lock washer. And the nut. So there you go. I know everybody has their ways of doing motor mounts for S-10s and cutting holes in the frame and doing this and that and the other thing, but this worked out. Like just going down through the holes with a little bit of fishing line, grabbing the bolt, coming back up through the hole, and then you don't have to make any cuts, any holes, nothing, and it'll work out just fine.
However, though, PSA, make sure that your bolts are long enough that you can grab hold of them with a vice grip, so
right.
whenever you tighten them
yes,
down,
yeah, make sure you don't use too short of bolts. You know, the ones that we got were what, like 1.25 inches or something like that?
They're pretty long, they're long enough.
Something like that. But yeah, so, and then like seriously, if anybody's watching this and saying, well, the bolt's going to spin inside the frame, well, if it does, there's plenty of bolts sticking out that you can lock onto with the vice grips, and make sure that you can tighten the nut down and it will not spin. But it's a lot easier than hacking away your frame, cutting holes and whatnot. So we're calling this a win. Ethan, what you doing?
Abusing my truck.
For what reason?
To make things fit. It's a little tight in here.
Yeah, that's alright.
Alright everybody, you can see this mess of spaghetti, which is the less mess of spaghetti for S-10s, because this is the very base model. So, on the passenger side of the truck, we have stuff that we don't need for IAC, map sensors, and just computer control sensors that we know we don't need. Yes. On this side of the truck, we have stuff that we know we will need, such as the exciter for the alternator, the charging wires for the alternator, control, ignition coil,
starter wire.
Yes, starter wire.
And this is going to continue to grow.
Yeah. But this is where we start.
So we're going to keep chopping away at this, and we'll be back here in a little bit with an update. Okay, so for the most part, all of this crap we do not need. This is all sensors and all the ECM connections and crap. Now, as I had said in a video back, we're still keeping the electric fuel pump. So we still have the wires that go to the relay and stuff for that we're going to wire in. And then down here we have, like your starter wire, ignition, hots, alternator, and stuff like that. So we just got to make everything all pretty and move on to the next step.
But what Johnny do?
I've been keeping it warm.
Ah. Alright everyone, we are now moving on to the Turbo 400. And we have encountered a slight problem. The problem that we are encountering is that the speedo housing seems to be bigger than the hole in the tail shaft of the transmission. It does not want to go down in there at all, not to the O-ring. It just does not want to fit.
Well, the problem is it's the wrong one.
Yeah. Because this was not installed in the transmission whenever we got it, and it is the wrong part for this transmission. Alright, so on the transmission, we have a new poly crossmember mount. Draw a hole in the pan and put the train stem sender in. And to make this fit in the S-10, you have to cut the ears off of both sides of the bell housing. So, and the B&M shifter bracket. That's about it for the trainee.
Alright, what you up to now?
Well, many weeks later, we have a new speedo housing that will fit inside the tail shaft of this transmission, because the one we had was way too big. So we got a new one of these, and then we have a 37 tooth to go in here to what I believe is 15 or 18 tooth, I can't remember. So,
But why are we changing that?
Because the gears in the rear end were going to change to a 323, and after doing some math, we discovered that the 37 tooth driven gear is the gear that we need. So
we're just going to go ahead and put that in right now. Speedo may be inaccurate for a little while, but at least that part will be done.
Yes. Now, I put a little bit of grease on the gear before I slide it into the housing, just for fun. And that goes in there like so, and then your speedo cable would go in there. Now, you have to, I believe, it goes in like this, and you're like, wait, now I was screwed up. Don't trust me, you can't trust me. I don't want a little overboard here, but
A little.
I'll just spread it around nice and good.
That's good. That'll work.
Put a little bit of grease on there so you can lube up your O-ring. And I believe this slides into the housing like so.
Gotta make sure your tooth meshes with the other tooth so it goes in the whole way.
Tail shaft.
It's in, I think.
No, the O-ring's not in.
Oh, okay. It's dark, so. Are you in the park?
I don't know.
Looks like it. I hear that rip.
One in further. There we go. I think now it might be in.
No.
Yep, speed gear's turning.
If it's turning, then.
Alright, and you just take your bracket draw, put it on there like so. I'll do final adjustments after I get this bolt started.
Now, if everybody has made it this far into the video, we filmed some stuff back in, what was it, December, I believe it was. But then the kid and I went out to our Tucson location for New Year's, and obviously enjoyed the weather out there because it was like shorts and t-shirt. It was amazing. But whenever we came back, it was frigid, cold, and like a winter wasteland in this area. So it's been about, it's going on 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks since we've been out here in the garage.
You're lucky if you leave the teens.
Yes, it's been crazy. So this is the first day we've actually been able to get out here and actually do any sort of continuation on the S-10. So right now we're just trying to button some stuff up before we slap the motor and training together and try to wedge it in there.
It's a nice, beautiful 40 degrees today.
Yeah, well, 40 is better than -10.
Next weekend's supposed to be better yet.
Cool. Cool. All right. So anyway, let's continue on.
Alright, we have the new U-joint pressed into the drive shaft and the new yoke for the Turbo 400.
Just to let everybody know, in order to go for the yoke for the Turbo 400 to the 3 GM drive shaft, we used Moog Universal Joint 447, I believe it is, that has the 1350s on for the yoke and the inside clip ones for the actual drive shaft, and it worked out perfectly.
And PSA, press it in before you put the grease fitting in, because we've learned that lesson the hard way. Okay, ladies and gents, the new U-joint in the back is pressed in because we just decided, in the spirit of freshness, put a new rear U-joint in, so the drive shaft is ready to go. Well, unless we have to chop it, which is a good possibility. So that part's ready. Now let's move up to the fuel system.
So the S-10 already has its feed line from the tank, return line to the tank, and the vent for a charcoal canister. So went to Summit and got a Holley regulator to rig it down to carburetor pressure. So right now we're just trying to figure out where to mount it. So since the factory lines are right here, we figured the best place to put it would be probably right there. So that way we can get the main feed into it, the return back to it, and then we just have to figure out how to get the feed from here to the carburetor. So it's currently, it feels like that's probably going to be a good spot. It should be out of the way of everything rotational. It should be away from the headers far enough. So at this point in time, we think that's what we're going to do. We'll get back to it and let you know.
Alright everyone, now we have this fuel pressure regulator ready, which, in case you don't know how it works, fuel is going to come in on this side.
Actually, the other side.
Oh, this side, and it's going to come out of here, go into the carb, and then the return is going to come out at the bottom. And we already have the bracket mounted. So,
And why did we mount it there?
because the fuel lines are right there. So for ease of install, right there is the best place.
Beautiful.
So, and then it comes with these two teensy-weensy little screws that go on the bottom here. So all you gotta do is just boop,
And
anti-squeeze.
don't eat that stuff. I think it's poison.
Yeah.
I said think, I'm not sure.
If I did, you might want to call it a bambulance, because, you know.
A bambulance?
A bambulance, because something tells me it wouldn't go very swimmingly. Stick with me.
A little before or after you scratch the shit out of the inner fender wheel. Come on, bruh.
I'll put it in here.
Bruh.
can do whatever I want. I put it in here.
You know, I bought it, so
I put it in here.
too lazy to go get a damn job.
No, it's more like I have too many other things. Okay. Secure.
Cool. On to the next stuff.
You have the regulator, so use the factory lines. The bigger one is the feed, which comes into there. Then you have the smaller return, which runs down and into there, which we put wiring loom on to protect said lines. And then the feed that comes out of here, we're working on a metal line. And we have one end flared, but we have to use a different style of flare for the other end because of the bend that's in it. But we're going to connect that with a rubber line here, come up there, and I'm assuming across the firewall. I didn't watch them make it because I was busy with U-joint stuff.
You would assume correctly.
Okay, comes across the firewall, and then from there it's going to go from a rubber line up to the toilet, gas toilet. So,
Almost there.
almost there for that part. Okay, so this line is now going in the special way because it's special. Yep.
Okay, so with a little bit of creativity and a few curse words, we managed to figure this out. So now we have our line for our carburetor coming up to here to 3/8 line, going over here, coming up here. Does not interfere with the hinges or anything at all. Utilize some holes we already had in the firewall, coming across here, going above the wiper motor, which we have some loom on there for like rubbing protection or whatever, and to the end there, facing down towards where the fuel line is actually going to be. Now, if you're watching this and you're going, why in the hell did you do that? Well, here's my theory on that. Since the factory lines are already coming out way down here, and we put the regulator right here, we would either have to go out across the engine to feed the carburetor, or come up with something crafty to go under and back up through. But then I always think ahead, and if we ever have to pull the motor or decide we want to pull the motor and do something else or whatever, that we don't have to piss the fuel lines. Everything is already here and coming across there. All we have to do is unhook the rubber line from the gas toilet and done. So, may not be perfect, but I think it's pretty freaking awesome. Thank you. Alright kids, so this is the last part of this video, but you'll be happy to know that we are gonna put some transmission fluid in the torque converter, because the next video you see,
We're going to be putting that in that.
after we attach it
To that.
So we need to get that part done.
It's a mini jigsaw puzzle.
So since the weather in Pennsylvania is getting pretty decent, hopefully throughout the course of this week we can get all these pieces put together and get this thing in there.
Yay!
Yay! So we've been promising everybody an update, an S-10 update, and with the weather and the fact that I bought another vehicle that we've been trying to get dialed in, we haven't had a whole bunch of chance to work on it. But today was pretty decent, so I told the kid that we were going to work on his truck today.
And Johnny.
Yes, Johnny did help as well. Johnny's a little bit under the weather, so
And he already went back.
he already went inside. So
Without further ado,
we're going to put some fluid in this thing, get it ready to put in the transmission. And
drum roll, please.
Well, I don't know why you need a drum roll. How about a guitar solo instead?
Okay.
All right. How's that?
It worked.
Does that work?
Just satisfactory.
Careful. Faster but slower. Messier but cleaner. Alright, so this is like boring as hell, so we're not going to subject you to this. So
I'll just-
hope you guys like this video. And like I said, this week we're going to start getting everything married together so we can slap it in the truck and start connecting the dots. So guess we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. And remember, you don't start, neither will your project.
There you go. Attaboy.
I'll fix that in post.
Alright, kids. See you later.